Do you see the screen?
Yes, I sure do now. Oh, wow. I see. Does that look like Cappadocia?
The culture of Turkey combines a heavily diverse set of elements that have been derived from the various cultures of the Eastern Mediterranean and Central Asian region, and to a lesser degree, Eastern European and Caucasian traditions. Many of these traditions were initially brought together by the Ottoman Empire, a multi-ethnic and multi-religious state. Daily life in Turkey. In rustic areas, life begins with the sunrise and continues until sunset. There is certainly a task for everybody, home folks, whether he is an adult or a child, old or young, a woman or a man, within economic activities which are based on agriculture and stock breeding, and within daily life in the village. The family relations and neighborhood relations in Anatolia are very well knit and solid. Anatolian people often display the best examples of partnership, union, and solidarity in grief, happiness, joy, and trouble, today as in the past. Customs and conventions, traditions and habits that have reached today since all times have taught certain rights and responsibilities to individuals of the society and family members. Although the changes in socio-economic conditions due to modern life have caused significant changes in habits for daily life and social life, the daily life culture formed by accumulations of Anatolian people for centuries still maintain its vitality to a great extent. This is a bride and groom getting ready for their wedding in Konya, Central Anatolia.
Oh, wow.
Marmara region. Among the 7 geographical regions, the Marmara region has the second smallest area, yet the largest population. It is the most densely populated region in the country. Carpet weaving. Cotton and silk are used as raw materials in carpets. Trees, flowers, double-headed eagles, and birds are common patterns. Pottery. Pottery is made by forming a ceramic body into objects of a required shape and heating them to high temperatures to increase their strength and harden and set their shape. These are traditional clothes of Marmara region. Traditional foods of Marmara. Susurluk ayranı. This is a cold drink made with yogurt. People usually drink it with their meals or on its own. Höşmerim. Höşmerim is a dessert. There is sugar, semolina, and cheese in it. İskender kebab. It is one of the most famous meat foods of northwestern Turkey and takes its name from its inventor İskender Efendi, who lived in Bursa in the late 19th century.
Aegean region. Aegean is one of the most touristic places in Turkey, especially in summers, because it's near the Mediterranean Sea. Cultural foods of the Aegean rice. It is different than the other rices. There are chicken, pasta, green peanut, artichoke, and other ingredients. Rakı balık. Rakı and fish. Rakı is an unsweetened, occasionally a nice flavored alcoholic drink that is very popular in the Aegean region of Turkey. It is often served with seafood or meze. Yaprak sarma. Grape leaves are soaked in brine to make them soft, then stuffed with samai, cooked rice, and sometimes ground lamb, currants, or other ingredients. The rolled up leaves resemble small cigars. Şirince, a nice little village in the Aegean region. Şirince is known throughout Turkey for wine tasting and production. Traditional clothes of this region. The Mediterranean region. Music. Mediterranean region has a lot of different types of music because this region is the home of many different civilizations. This music was affected by Spanish, Greek, Turkish, and Arabic cultures. Regional instruments. Kabak kemane. This instrument is made of pumpkin and it's played with bow that is made of horsehair. Tambura. It is a small string instrument and its trunk is made of coconut. Traditional clothes. Architecture. Most of the buildings are made of stone in this region because the weather is usually hot or warm. Rooftops are usually preferred in houses instead of roofs. Veranda, that is opening to the garden, and kitchen are the most important parts of houses.
Wow.
Regional foods. Gülgaz. Gülgaz is a plant that grows in Cyprus. This food is made with fatty sheep meat and spinach. Baba Hanush. Baba Hanush is a regional eggplant meal. There are eggplants, onions, different spices such as red pepper and black pepper, and vegetables in this meal. Growing orange in the Mediterranean region is very common. Southeastern Anatolia region. Traditional foods. In this region, meat and spices are very important. They are the base of every food. In Southeastern Anatolia cuisine, they have different kinds of kebabs. Hünkar bendi, katmer, which is a dessert, çiğ köfte, içli köfte, borani, and baklava. Architecture. In southeastern Anatolia, it is hot and dry in summer, but really cold in winter. Because of this, people make their houses of adobe, and the houses don't have any balconies. Traditional outfits. Black Sea region. Black Sea region has an oceanic climate with high and evenly distributed rainfall the year round. At the coast, summers are warm and humid, and the winters are cool and damp. It is the only region of Turkey that receives high precipitation throughout the year. Black seafood. Corn, cabbage, and fish, because of the climate of this region, have a special place in Black Sea meals. Almost all types of meal are gathered around these products. Traditional outfits. Black Sea architecture. Wood is usually used in this region. Eastern Anatolia region. Regional instruments, bağlama. The bağlama is a stringed music instrument. The kaval is a chromatic and blunt flute traditionally played throughout the Armenia, Balkans, and Turkey. The kaval is primarily associated with mountain shepherds. Eastern Anatolian food. Jar kebabı is a horizontally stacked marinated rotating lamb kebab variety originating in Turkey's Erzurum province. Piti is a soup in the cuisines of the Caucasus. It is bordering nations and Central Asia and is prepared in the oven in individual cracks with a glazed interior. Traditional outfits. Architecture. And Central Anatolia region. Traditional foods of Central Anatolia, manta. It's a meal that is made of meat and dough. It is a traditional food here and most people like it. Traditional outfits. Architecture. Mevlana Türbesi. Here is a famous tomb in Konya, Turkey.
Mhm.
And we have a video that shows Turkish traditional dances.
Oh, good.
Do you see?
Do you see the screen?
I don't see it yet. No. Now I do.
Do you see now?
Yes. Thank you. Mm.
This dance is called Zeybek. They have spoons in their hands.
And that's it.
Wow, that was very neat.
Thank you for watching and listening.
Oh, good. Yeah. Let me show you some of ours when. Let me find it here a second.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Pull it up one more
Do you
time.
have any questions?
Oh yeah, that was really kind of neat. And with well, I was going to say, especially my relatives came from, oh my gosh, about 6 of those different areas of Anatolia. So that was really special to me. Which foods do you like the best from what part of Turkey?
I think I love mantı.
Oh, really?
Anatolia.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Okay.
You think?
About dancing, the traditional dancing. How do you have? Does anybody at your school do that traditional dancing?
Yes.
Do you have a group or anything?
We have a Nepal dance group.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and they dance. But what kind of? I don't know.
Every year they change their type. Different dance. Every year.
Oh, okay. Well, what we are about to show you here is, I'll try to get, we have some American speaking, and we have, let me try to get it on here. Yeah, seen it yet. This first one's from Stephanie, and hopefully they'll be here in a little bit, but you never know. But I got so mixed up on the time change. I forgot and told them an extra hour, which was the wrong way. Okay. Okay, this is popular foods here in Texas, and this is from Stephanie. And she's talking about one called chili con carne. It's chili with meat, commonly known in English as simply chili, a spicy stew that contains chili peppers, meat, and beef, often tomatoes and beans. A lot of times we put a lot of peppers and stuff in it from our part of the country. It may also have garlic, onions, and cumin. Geographic and personal tastes involve different types of meat. I've seen everything from, they make chilies all over in here, beef, sometimes even goat. There's chili cook-offs are very popular around here in Texas. Here's a picture of some chili in a bowl.
Oh my.
This will have beans and sometimes even put bacon or some pork in it as well, but you don't necessarily have to. Next thing is barbecue. Texas barbecue is traditional style of preparing meat unique to the cuisine of Texas. It's one of the different varieties of barbecue found around the world. Texas barbecue is divided into 4 areas: East Texas, Central Texas, South Texas, and West Texas. Central and East Texas varieties are generally the most well-known. In 1973, in a magazine called Texas Monthly, an article, author Griffin Smith Jr. described the dividing line between the 2 styles as a line that runs between Columbus and Hearne, northward between Dallas and Fort Worth. Traditionally, deep in South Texas, Rio Grande, a Mexican style of preparation can be found. In Spanish, barbecue means it refers to the Mexican variety of preparation. And here's a picture of barbecue. Now they would barbecue in our part of the country. They would normally barbecue beef. In other parts of the country, they will barbecue pork, and these are ribs. And they would put on these sauces, and the sauces will have all kinds of flavorings in them. Sometimes very strong with peppers, tomatoes, different things, sometimes even with alcoholic preferences. Okay, Tex-Mex enchiladas. Cheese-filled tortilla covered with spicy meat sauce and cheeses before baking. And for enchiladas, a tortilla would be kind of like a flatbread or like a pita bread. It's made out of corn or flour. It's rolled over, and they would put the meat and spicy stuff inside of it, and then it would be cooked, and they put the sauce on top. This is a good picture. These happen to be beef enchiladas, and you'll see onions and cheese, a point of the cheese, onions, tomato paste, and then inside the enchilada itself is the meat. Now there could be cheese. I've seen they put onions, peppers, vegetables again in that. It's just up to you. Okay, chicken fried steak. This is kind of a odd thing to explain to people, but it's American bread cutlet, normally veal or beef, consisting of a beef steak, which is tenderized and seasoned with flour and fried. It's sometimes associated with Southern cuisine, but a lot of people eat it here with a lot of people here in Texas will eat it. It has no chicken at all, but it's called fried steak, and it's fried like chicken is, so they call it chicken fried steak. Chicken fried steak resembles the Australian dish Wiener Schnitzel and the Italian South American dish, and I can't pronounce that. It's tenderized veal or pork coated with flour and eggs. And this is what it looks like. Now, that is a piece of meat that's been deep fried and chicken fried there. This will be mashed potatoes normally served with it. Now, in most parts of Texas, this would be white gravy, not brown gravy. And then sometimes they give you a biscuit or something to eat, and sometimes they give you soup. Pecan pie, or in some parts of the United States, called pecan pie. It's a pie of pecan nuts mixed with fillings, eggs, butter, and sugar. Variations include white or brown sugar, syrup, molasses, maple syrup, or honey. It's normally in the South because pecans are grown here in the South. The recipes are flavored with vanilla and other flavorings. Sometimes they put chocolate and bourbon whiskey in it. Also popular additions, pecan pie is served with whipped cream, vanilla ice cream, or hard sauce. And this is what a pecan pie looks like. They actually put pecans on the top, and you'll notice the crust will come up here. When you cut it, the middle of it is we'll taste, if you've never had it, it doesn't, okay. It just has pieces of pecans in it. It's not solid pecans, I'll put it that way. And it's got a regular crust, a regular filling in the middle. Okay, Frito pie. This is kind of an interesting deal for you may know about Fritos. Most of the likely idea for a happy union of a Czechoslovakian grub and Mexican street food occurred independently to a number of folks. Since it's been fancified, duck chili and goat cheese, and it's called Frito pie. And what they do is you would take a bag of Fritos, and then you would put some chili on top of it, and then you would put, these are jalapeno peppers, but you could put cilantro or any other kind of pepper you want to cut up, and you would eat it hot. Now this has a dab of sour cream on top of it too. And it's basically a street food that's become institutionalized. And when you go to events, they will sell Frito pie all over Texas here. Okay, next. I think that was the last one here. Yeah. Okay, now let me get to the next one. That was one for Stephanie.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys have Fritos?
No.
Fritos are a corn chip. It's like a potato chip that's made out of corn. Be the best way to.
We have similar.
Okay, and you can put any kind of peppers in it, and you can put some hot chilies or whatever you like on it. It does taste pretty good. I must admit that.
Maybe.
Okay.
Baba, biz niye film koymadık ya? Çok mantıklı lan. Sinema niye koymadık?
Okay, this is from Unisa. Now, this is interesting. This gentleman is from Africa, and he came here to the States, and then he's going to talk a little bit about what's some popular TV shows and stuff here in United States. Now, I watch a considerable much Turkish TV, so I know a little bit about some Turkish stuff. United States, our soap operas, one of the bigger ones would be Empire. It'd be similar to it's a weekly continuous drama, similar to like many of the Turkish programs. Empire was a popular American drama series. It was introduced by Lee Daniels and Daniel Strong. First episode was in January of 2015. A brief synopsis: hip-hop artist and CEO Emperor. You can read that. I'll just go next one. There are three sons. There's the three sons. The main protagonist in Empire was Mr. Lion, is a fictional character from Fox drama series Empire, portrayed by Terrence Howard, a famous actor. Fighting the company Empire. Empire is go public in the New York Stock Exchange. However, the most Lucius must contend with his ex-wife Cookie. Only in the United States, we have all these divorces and stuff. Okay, it tells you how it started, Ludacris. Okay, that's a little bit about that on Empire. He didn't quite finish, but that was, I thought, pretty decent. Let's go back to the food. Sorry. Okay, now this is another one with Texas food, but it's a little bit different, so we'll go through it. Okay, the people here in Texas kind of consider ourselves although we're part of the United States, a little bit different. We're a little unique. We've had 6 different countries control Texas, and we actually were a republic before we became part of Texas. So there's a lot of Texas pride. This is from Abigail. And she talks again about pecan pie. You can make the pie out of almost anything, but pecans are really big here in Texas, Central Texas to East Texas. Texas pecans, whether it's served hot or cold, scoop of ice cream, it's really good, pretty hot. Barbecue, again, historically this area was the birthplace of Texas ranching. Many people think that Texas is full of horses and cattle still, although it still has quite a few both. And then the cow's head, which defines as South Texas barbecue. South Texas barbecue is much different. Okay, brisket tacos. This is kind of interesting. This is smoked brisket, which is you'll be like pulled meat and put onto a taco, which would be again like a tortilla, and then they would have salsa. This green salsa would be basically, you know, different chili salsas, and this salsa, the red salsa, would be based with tomatoes and onions and cilantro. So this is heavy cilantro and jalapeno, very hot, and this one isn't. But then in the meat, you would put onions and maybe cheese, and these happen to be flour tortillas. You could cook corn tortillas or that. Very similar to a flexible flatbread or pita bread. Okay, Chile, again, Historia of Chile without beans. Started from women who served food in the San Antonio Military Plaza. Chili stands are common in Galveston and Houston. And they started their first taco type street vending food. The thing about chili is you cook it in a large pot and you would serve it individual servings. It's very economical to make large quantities of, so that's why a lot of people would serve it, especially like for street food. And then you can see that they had cheese and different things that they melt on top. It can be served with crackers or tortillas, depends on where you got it at. Chicken fried steak. Now this is another one I showed you before, but this would be the white gravy. It would be basically a flour-based gravy with a lot heavy salt, peppers. You'll see green beans there, and you'll see the traditional Southern type of biscuit. This would be a much more traditional food for than the other with that. There is a place in Texas where they offer this for 32 ounces, a 32-ounce steak. If you eat all the steak in so many minutes, you get free steak. Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper was originally started by a young pharmacist called Charles Augustin. Invented a drink as a carbonated drink, as marketed having a unique flavor. Give you a little bit of information. It used to have 23 different ingredients. One of the ingredients was prune juice, and on the Dr. Pepper sign it would say 10, 2, and 4, and that would be used for people that were unable to go to the restroom, and this would try to free up, be like a laxative, it would free you up. Dr. Pepper, just like Coca-Cola, started as a patent medicine and was sold in the drugstores. And it was sold in little bottles and it was sold on shelves. That's why the Coca-Colas had that 7-inch bottle, because that's all you could get into the shelf. And Dr. Pepper is very popular here in Texas. It just got bought out by Carrick Coffee, and now it's going to be marketed nationally. It's not really marketed as much up north. Dr. Pepper and Cokes are served cold now. Before Prohibition in the United States, Prohibition started with the Volstead Act of 1919 and went to 1933. All these were basically served hot, and you could get them at the pharmacies. Well, all of a sudden, when you couldn't sell alcohol anymore, the bars in different areas needed something to sell. So they started selling sodas, and Pepsi-Cola, one of the early bottling, one of the early soda companies, had a tremendous need to get bottles, and they went down to a beer distributor and bought all their 12-ounce bottles. So Coca-Cola became the first, Pepsi-Cola became the first soft drink to be sold in a bottle, and it had a long neck. And the reason why they have long necks was that before refrigeration, they would put ice in it all the way up to the top of the neck, and then this way the person could just reach out and hand them a cold one. So ever since Prohibition, Dr. Pepper's, Coca-Colas, and stuff been served cold, and the rest is history. But that's why you drink it on ice or cold today. But some people do like hot Dr. Pepper still. Sweet tea. Sweet tea was established in Virginia from a lady who was born here in Texas. It's a green tea, and then we drink it in, normally they show that in the mason jar with lemon and ice. We're one of the few. I know tea or chai is really popular in Turkey, but I think we're one of the few people that would throw ice cubes and stuff in it for some reason. I don't know.
All right.
Frito pie again. This shows you a little bit nicer one. It started again. Excuse me. I'll just show you the picture. That's a picture of a Frito pie put into a little skillet. You don't have to necessarily serve it in the Frito package, but if you're at a restaurant and ordered Frito pie, they would put the Fritos at the very bottom. Remember, those are corn chips. They would put that chilies and stuff on top. Excuse me. Then they put onions, jalapeno peppers, and then cheese, and then maybe some sour cream. Breakfast tacos, very, very popular here in Texas, from Austin south. What it is they will mix all kinds of breakfast food on this flat tortilla again and roll it up. You'll have like eggs, lettuce, salsa, which is tomatoes, sometimes potatoes, bacon. You can have almost every kind of a thing together, and they would sell those for like $1, $2, or whatever. A lot of street vendors will sell them, and they'll wrap them up in aluminum and keep them warm. It's a pretty good breakfast food. It is also, we have a large amount of people that we'll talk about that were checked. Here's different fair foods. And this here, it started back in the Dallas Fair, the State Fair in 1886. And I don't know, these are like little balls with meat in them. It sounds very similar, but they're deep fried. And then this is funnel cakes. Excuse me. A funnel cake is a light crusty type of a cake. Sometimes they're called Belgian waffles, but they're a funnel cake, and then they would put like jams and jellies and stuff on top. I know there's something similar to that I've seen in some of the Turkish films. And then we have Bluebell ice cream. Bluebell was a very famous ice cream maker. It's founded in 1907. It's located between us and Houston and Brenham, Texas. It got itself in a little bit of trouble because several people died from some bacteria that was in the ice cream a couple years ago. So they took it off the market. They fixed it. Had to do with the machines. But Bluebell ice cream, very, very popular here in Texas, or across the United States, at least South. Another thing is very fast foods. Fast foods are real popular. Probably the biggest, the more popular ones here in our part of the country, in Texas, called Whataburger. Whataburger is an American privately held regional fast food chain based in San Antonio. It specializes in hamburgers and was started in 1950. And they had their first restaurant in Corpus Christi. And that's the last that I had of these. And I had Got about 7 or 8 more that the kids are going to send you, but they're not here yet, so I don't know if they got my email or not. You have any questions over any of the vast things we're trying to share with you right there?
Yes, we have some questions for you.
Okay, great.
You said you liked Turkish TV series. What's
Oh,
your
yeah.
favorite?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I was thinking about it. I'm watching Cherry Season right now, which is the older one, but it's really kind of nice. But I've really liked so many. I probably watched maybe 75 or Turkish series so far, and I'm still trying to understand. I like some of the historical ones. I like the one with the one about the oh gosh, now you put me on the spot. I'm sorry. Okay, I like the one. I like the one that ended last year with the police one. With oh gosh. Okay, well, just strike me dead, I guess, because I'm on my 7th episode or 8th episode of Cherry Season right now. That came out 2014, 2015, and I've watched. I don't know. There's something about Turkish television. I like Korean dramas and I like Turkish TV because I think it's a lot better because it really hooks you into wanting to keep on watching. But I like the about the 130 minutes that they have. Like it's like a full movie that you get to see and it continues again. So you actually feel more like you get to know these characters than you do in American TV, where American TV it's about 42 minutes and then you don't ever understand. Then the next week they start with something different. But what was the one last year that had the guy was a kebab maker and the father was and they had 2 brothers and they were separated at a young age.
Wait.
I watched all 3.
İki kardeş ayrılıyor, sonra yıllar sonra bir daha buluşuyor.
I was going to say Surdy, but it's not. I can't think of it. Oh, I'll look at that. I got to kick myself. What? Yeah, I mean, that show was fantastic to me. I mean, it has all the elements of something that could really.
Yes, it was fantastic.
And some of the Turkish actors and stuff are just really amazing. I don't know. I thought that, full disclosure, I thought, it would be really hard, but I got to where I like subtitles better than I like regular stuff. So I get really concentrated on the cinematography and looking at the Istanbul, and it's really pretty. And there's one in Bursa that had to do with journalism in a story that was really neat. They started out in Bursa and then they went to Southeast, and it came out in 2005. It was an older one, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was like 60 or 70 episodes. And I watched all that. I thought, that's really kind of neat. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of a strange person.
It's okay.
Do you know some of the Turkish actors' name?
Do what? Well, yeah, I wish I do. I couldn't pronounce them, but I mean, I could recognize the. Yeah, I'm just not really good on Turkish pronunciation. I'm sorry, but I could send you a bunch of stuff on that. I'm sorry. Oh, by the way, my family lived in Cappadocia for a long time until around, I guess, about 300. And then my family lived in Constantinople or Istanbul, I guess, until about the 1200s. And then they lived, have family from all over Eastern Anatolia and even Southeastern Anatolia. And then anciently, my family grew up around the Black Sea area. So, I mean, I've had people in Anatolia for probably 2,000 years or better now, so it's very nice to be able to share and see how customs and stuff merge. And then I do have family that were Turks that came as well. So I have family that conquered the other family, which is kind of weird, but you know how that goes.
I have a question too.
Yeah.
What's your favorite meal?
My favorite meal?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It used to be probably a hamburger. I just recently found out I have a lot of sugar problems, so I can't really eat too much bread or anything anymore. But Americans are pretty, at least our part of Texas will have some sort of meat. I guess now I've got used to tuna fish, so I kind of like tuna fish. So, you know, I guess fairly eclectic. I really like the grape leaves rolled up in different things. And I used to like baklava. I can't really eat it anymore either. So, I mean, most of the stuff I really like, and I love lamb. I like lamb. I like kebabs. I like gyros. I like flatbread as well. So I'm very active in some Middle Eastern churches. I happen to go to a Maronite church, so much of our food would be Lebanese, which would be very similar to a lot of the food that you were talking about eating, especially in the southeastern part. And pilar, the rice dishes are really nice. I love Turkish coffee, but I don't get a whole lot of it. You know, had some friends who used to make it a lot, and I never had the sherbet. But I've seen a lot on historical dramas, Magnificent Century and different things like that. They had the sherbet maker that would go through that. You know.
Have you ever been in Turkey?
No, I wish I would like to go. Just I got invited in 2005 to give a talk in Istanbul, and I didn't get to go to that. But yeah, that's one of my dreams is to actually go and visit several places. I'd love to go visit Istanbul, and I'd love to go visit Cappadocia. I mean, I'd like to go in the hot air balloons and go around and look at the caves and different things. You know. Like I said, I kind of before, everybody has a bucket list or something, but before I pass away from this earth, I would like to kind of go back and visit where some of my relatives live.
And if you come, we would like to meet with you.
Could you repeat it, please? I'm sorry.
And if you come to Turkey, we would like to meet with you.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would love to. I would love for you guys to come to the United States. But right now, I don't know if you want to come to our area because we're going through bombings. We had our 5th bombing in the last 3 weeks.
And you should try Iskender kebab in Turkey.
Oh yeah, that would be great. You know, I would like to go to Bursa to go to that cafe with a huge tree in the middle of it. Yeah, I think it's in Bursa, isn't it? Where you got the tree that goes out. Okay, and then there's a couple places on the in Istanbul I really like to go to too. I like to go see the old walls, and some of my relatives designed some of the architecture there in Istanbul. So you know, I'm very proud, but you know, my heritage predates a little bit of the Ottoman, but you know, I'd still like to go see some of the stuff that you know that we can share. I think it's really kind of neat.
Do you think is Texas have the most delicious foods in USA?
Not really, probably. You go to what you see about us in the United States, well, at least in Texas, much of ours is heavily influenced by Spanish or Mexican foods. The other parts of the United States, where a little more immigrant heavy, would actually have a little bit more of immigrant foods, and they would actually be surprisingly very similar to a lot of the things that you would eat or you would see there in Turkey. It's very eclectic. We're probably not as eclectic as that. When you mentioned or showed about the Ottoman Empire with multi-diverse things, and or Istanbul, which has had tremendous amount of influences from a lot of different people, we have like many influences. A little bit from where we're at right here, they would have a lot of people from the Czech Republic, and they would have a lot of Czech food and kolaches and stuff like that. We didn't show any of it here, but That's about all the ethnic food we'd have, other than basically, if you like Spanish or Mexican food, you'd love it here. Now, talking about Spanish and Mexican food, you probably like a lot of it because it's rice and beans and different things. Now, like when I say go to church, we eat a lot of hummus and chickpeas and, different things, which would be very similar probably to that, and flatbreads and pita breads and stuff, which would be good. So we have a little bit of stuff, but not near as much as you would be like in the Northeast. Northeast would be, if you go to Chicago, for example, almost every block there's an ethnic restaurant. It's almost like going to that community. It's that good. So, and New York's the same way. We're not that way. I would assume Istanbul is probably that cosmopolitan. You could go to Istanbul and get a mini taste of all around the world just from Istanbul. I don't know about Bursa, but what kind of fast foods do you have, or do you have what kind of street foods do you have in Bursa?
We have hamburgers, pizza.
Oh, wow. Now, what kind of pizza do you like? Flat pizza? I mean, do you like the thin pizza or the thick pizza?
I like the thin one.
Okay. Well, see, we go to Chicago to compete every year, and I mean that pizza's like life. Yeah, it tastes more like a. It doesn't taste like a pizza like you normally taste. So I didn't know what they would serve. So how much? What kind of toppings would you have on your pizza there in Turkey? Would it just be cheese pizza, or would you put other stuff on it?
We put a lot of stuff on it.
Okay.
There are actually some pizzas which are more like cultural. They are not cultural, but we change our pizzas sometimes. Like we put some cultural stuff on them, but not all the time.
Okay.
We often use meat.
Okay. Now tell me a little bit about your school. How many kids go to school? How long do you go to your classes?
Uh, 700 people.
700 people. Okay. And how long are your classes every day? And how many classes do you have?
We have 8 classes every day. 8 hours.
8 hours. Okay. And bandwidth's going a little low there. Okay. What kind of classes do you take?
Maths, physics.
Okay, math and physics, and what else?
History.
Oh, wow, good. And in history, what are you learning in history right now today? Or what have you learned today? What did you learn today?
In my class, we are in, I think, between World War I and World War I and World War II. Between.
Oh, wow, that is fascinating. Now, how do they teach that when the English took over Turkey or Constantinople? What do they say about that in your history class?
Actually, they talking that to us like the English ones doesn't fight in Turkey with first hand. They use their they use the English use their puppets to fight us.
Yeah.
And they achieve that their economic purpose.
Okay, now let me just ask you a good question. From your history class, what do they teach about Gallipoli?
Can you repeat again?
Okay, from your history perspective, what do they teach about Gallipoli? They say it was a heroic fight, right? It wasn't because the stupid English were trying to run uphill and try to shoot people or something stupid, right?
Yes, okay. They told us in War of Gallipoli, one of the Anzac soldiers, they are also puppets of English. Australian and New Zealand persons.
Oh wow!
People.
And you hadn't gotten to the? Have you gotten to the Turkish Revolution or when they became, the end of the Ottoman Empire?
Because of the fallness of the Ottoman Empire, one of the great soldiers like Atatürk and Refet tried to fix this situation, and they don't want the system of the Ottoman Empire, so they started civilization in our country and tried to make allies among them.
I mean, that sounds really neat because here in the United States, we teach very little Turkish history or very little Ottoman Empire history. And then all of a sudden, a lot of people don't even realize, Turkey was totally neutral in World War II, and how they could remain neutral is amazing because the United States said they were neutral, but they couldn't remain neutral because I don't think they ever tried to be neutral in the first place. But that's very good. It sounds amazing what you are learning. How about your English? How do you credit yourself for speaking English so well?
We take English classes.
Yeah, but I mean,
watching the
you can take classes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you learn the language. But almost everybody I've ever seen from Turkey, when they take a class, they actually really know what they're talking about. How is it that, can you speak English a lot outside of school, or is it, because if we were trying to learn a language here in the United States, it sounds really difficult for many of us. People take classes, but they just don't ever really learn the language. Is English spoken much around Versra?
We try to make friends from abroad, and we always listening English music.
But actually, most people cannot speak English very well. We speak English with you because we can speak English.
Yeah. Well, okay. Which is your favorite music groups? Who are your favorite music groups from English groups?
Coldplay. You know Coldplay?
Yeah, Coldplay. Yeah, I know Coldplay.
I really like Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh wow! I was helping my kids here because Coldplay was very popular here. In fact, I think Coldplay's that's Fall Out Boys. I forget. We do concerts here in Austin quite a bit. Concession stands to raise money, and I forget some of the people who are coming. But we've got to see some pretty good people. Now, who are some of the popular Turkish groups right now?
Duman.
There's a group called Duman.
Okay, you don't like Turkish music?
Some of them.
Okay. Do you like any K-pop, any Korean music?
No.
No? Okay. How about, okay. What do people do your age for fun outside of school?
We go to cinemas.
Okay. And what kind of movies do you see? What's some of your favorite movies?
Black Swan.
Actually, our people, most of it, wants to watch comedies.
Okay, yeah.
In cinema.
You watch Turkish comedies?
Sometimes.
Yeah, because Turkish comedy, they put out some really good comedies, I know. I see some on Netflix and stuff. I'm more into the drama stuff than the comedies, but it's really nice. Do you ever watch any English movies or American movies?
Yes. I really like Thor.
What? Could you please repeat? What did you say? Which one?
Oğlum İngiliz film. Braveheart.
Oh, Braveheart. Yeah, Mel Gibson.
Adamım benim yani.
That paints itself blue. I like that. That was a good show. I was trying to think of something. Do you think do you think movies can transcend different nations? I mean, do you ever watch the Indian movies?
Indian movies.
Yeah, from India. You knew that India is the #1 producer of movies in the world today.
Yes, they have Bollywood.
Yeah, and they last like for 2 hours and something. They have dance scenes in every minute of every 10 minutes somebody's dancing. Okay, and even action movies, they're killing people and they're dancing. So I don't know, but I know that Turkish comedies are extremely popular. How about social media? What type of social media do you use there? What?
Instagram, Snapchat,
And Twitter.
Twitter, and Facebook, YouTube.
Do you still have MySpace?
Twitter and Instagram.
Okay.
No,
you guys?
you don't use my.
Yeah, but yeah. Well, that's good. Facebook. You guys
Yes, we
use?
use Facebook.
Okay. Snapchat.
But Instagram,
Do you use
Facebook plays.
Snapchat?
Yeah.
Snapchat, yes.
Yeah.
Could you come over and talk to this girl from Turkey? Yeah.
Tamam,
I got
kahvaltı
one of my
ettik.
students here. She's going to talk to you a little bit.
Sabah mantılarımıza bakıyor.
Hello.
Hadi bakalım. Hadi bakalım.
Hello. Real name?
Mahvedem ben. Baklayalım. Bir de oturdu gitti.
Talk or
Mania.
İyi.
close.
Tell me about the music.
Gosh, worry. So what type of music are you guys into?
We can't hear your voice.
What type of music are you guys into?
No. You need to speak louder. Yalan küfür edeceğim.
I was just saying,
Şş, bir dakika. Yes.
what music you guys are into over there in Turkey?
She asked what kind of music do you like?
It depends on the person. We can't really
Bak sen
say a
dinle ben.
general thing.
I usually listen rock.
Yeah, me too.
To rap?
Rock.
Rock.
I think they said rap.
Bu kızı bilmiyordum.
Bilmemiz gerekiyor. Söyle. Gidiyor. Hadi.
Hadi Fatih çağırsana söyle. Fatih
We
çağırsana.
have to go.
Allah'ıma şükür ya. Michael şöyle. Bebeğim neredesin ya?
Öğrendik.
Hello,
Orada.
we have to go because our school is closed.
Okay. I'm sorry. Now we just started going, so we'll talk to you again.
What?
I said we'll talk back with you again. Thank you.